Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Derrick Henry ties Steelers Jerome Bettis, Franco Harris with first touchdown as a Raven. The Baltimore Ravens may have lost their season opener, but their new running back, Derrick Henry, did make some history. With his first quarter rushing touchdown against the Kansas City Chiefs, he moved into a tie for 11th place all-time. And the two men with whom he's now keeping company? Jerome Bettis and Franco Harris, two Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Fame running backs. Henry's first touchdown with the Ravens marks the 91st of his career, drawing him even with Bettis and Harris. All that awaits him is some pretty illustrious territory, including 8 Hall of Famers. Up next on the list is Barry Sanders, who rushed for 99 touchdowns in 10 seasons. Derrick Henry is in his 9th season, so he could reach Sanders' rushing total a full year sooner. And once he reaches that plateau, which admittedly could take all season, he can move up the boards quickly. Ahead of Sanders at 10th all-time in rushing touchdowns are Marshall Faulk and Shaun Alexander, who have 100. John Riggins is at 104, followed by Jim Brown at 106 and Walter Payton at 110. Henry could realistically add 19 rushing touchdowns over the next 2 seasons, which would put him in the top 5 all-time. But the list starts to climb from there. For starters, Emmitt Smith sits at the zenith with a staggering 164 rushing touchdowns, which may never be passed. LaDainian Tomlinson is at 145 himself, with Marcus Allen at 123 and Adrian Peterson at 120. Henry still has a long way to go, so now we're dealing with longevity. As far as longevity goes, Henry still has it, for now. After the past 2 seasons, he has rushed for 2,705 yards on 629 attempts with 25 touchdowns. He has posted double-digit rushing touchdowns for 6 straight years, managing 10 even in a year in which he played 8 games due to injury. While he was still an effective runner in 2023 with the Titans, many believe Henry could see new life in the Ravens' offense. Complemented by a dynamic running threat at quarterback in Lamar Jackson, he could see fewer defenders in the box. Now he sits right alongside some true Steelers legends in Jerome Bettis and Franco Harris. I'm sure many Pittsburgh fans would have loved to see Henry in the black and gold at some point. He certainly has the right playing demeanor, and he's ready to experience the rivalry firsthand. Last night was not exactly a triumph of an introduction, but that's just one game. The Ravens only handed off to Henry 13 times, the 4-time Pro Bowler rushing for 46 yards. He managed a long of 9 yards plus the 1 score. One thing to consider is the fact that the Ravens are breaking in a new offensive line. Minus Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum, their other 3 starters are new to the lineup. That includes second-year man Andrew Voorhees, who missed his rookie season due to injury. As the line begins to come together, it will open more holes for Henry, paving the way for more scores. Can the Steelers bring home a Week 1 win? Pittsburgh's 3 keys versus Atlanta Falcons. The Pittsburgh Steelers will head to Atlanta on Sunday in hopes of claiming their first win of the season. The matchup is primed to be tough, with the Falcons looking like a much-improved team overall. However, the Steelers still have some advantages they could exploit against the Falcons, who did not play their starters in the preseason. Here are the Steelers' 3 keys to beating the Falcons. While the Falcons have a wonderful secondary with Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons, and A.J. Terrell, the Steelers will lose this one from the jump if they cannot stop Grady Jarrett and Matt Judon from taking over the game up front. If you want, feel free to throw David Onyemata in here, too. The Steelers will have to keep Russell Wilson or Justin Fields upright to win this game. They need to give their wide receiver and run game a chance. Spencer Anderson is starting at left guard with rookie Zach Frazier at center. That matchup feels like one where Jarrett should dominate, but Anderson and the team feel up to the task. "Well, he's definitely a twitchy rusher," Anderson said. We know who he is and how great he is. But there, you focus on yourself and your technique. You play with good pad level and hand usage. You have to focus on yourself just as much. If the Steelers can run the ball between the tackles and force Atlanta's linebackers to make plays, the Steelers might have a chance to ride Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren in this game. That has to be the plan, but it all starts up front. The Steelers, defensively, have one glaring hole in this game. Yet, it is actually a hole, or is it just an unproven player? Slot cornerback Beanie Bishop played well in the summer but looked just okay against the Houston Texans in his first starting spot in the preseason. The Steelers know the Falcons will have an X crossed right towards number 31. Until he proves he can stop guys like Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Darnell Mooney, the Falcons will go right to them in the slot. You never know. I just look at it like this. Like most things, we always prepare our guys so that if you're a young guy out there, you just have to be ready. You will be tested, and if you handle the test, then they'll go away from you. But if you don't handle the test, you can expect it to keep coming, defensive coordinator Terrell Austin said about Bishop. The Falcons will try to attack him, but Bishop will not shy away from the challenge that the Falcons will likely bring him. If he can back up the challenge and show what he is made of, the Steelers can slow down this talented Falcons offense. The Pittsburgh Steelers have two standouts in the passing game that will stick out in George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth. Yet, with Terrell, Bates, and Simmons in the secondary, they can erase the two of them through coverages. The Steelers might have to win their other matchups. As stated above, the other obvious outlet is the running game. Warren and Harris figure to be the two big-time players featured. However, the Steelers might need one big play from someone else. That could be Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin III, or someone else. The Steelers do not have the juice in the passing game to expect those two to be enough against a secondary like this on paper. Someone else has to step up, and if one player does, it might be enough to crawl the Steelers over the finish line. Steelers uncertain if Russell Wilson will play. The Pittsburgh Steelers may already be making a quarterback change this season, starting Justin Fields against the Atlanta Falcons in Week 1. After Russell Wilson had a calf injury flare-up during the practice week, there's a giant question looming over Pittsburgh, and it's not for certain that their veteran is on the field to open the season. Head coach Mike Tomlin confirmed that Wilson was just a limited participant during the team's second day of practice after a calf injury he's been nursing throughout the summer got tight. The Steelers are getting Wilson evaluated by doctors this week before leaving for Atlanta, but his status for game day is up in the air. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, there really is no guarantee that Wilson will play against the Falcons. And, in fact, right now his status is probably questionable. After nursing a calf injury during training camp, Russell Wilson felt tightness in his calf today, Schefter said via ESPN's NFL Live. That's not encouraging. The Steelers are unsure whether he'll be able to play on Sunday. We'll probably have a better idea tomorrow. If he can't go, then Justin Fields would wind up starting against Atlanta. We'll see how Wilson is feeling on Friday. If Wilson is out, the Steelers turn to Justin Fields as their starter. The former Chicago Bears first-round pick was traded this offseason for a conditional sixth-round pick and was involved in a competition for Wilson throughout training camp. But even with Wilson missing almost all of the summer due to the calf injury, he walked away the winner after starting in pole position. Fields is 10-28 as a starter in the NFL, with his best season coming in 2023 with a 5-8 record. Tomlin said he's extremely confident in Fields if he needs to start. That decision could be coming soon as the Steelers round out the practice week. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Russell Wilson? Leave your opinion in the comments.